one of the questions that I hear the most is, how do I become more embodied? We hear that word all the time, embodiment, and we have this general sense that we need to become more embodied. I'm disconnected from my body and my emotions and sensations. But how do we do that? First of all, we become disembodied in a few different ways. One is just culturally. Over in the West, it's a very easy thing to do. We're very identified with our minds and our thoughts. Secondly, sometimes that's what happens in our families and the personalities that we gain. If you think on the Enneagram, you know, all you twos out there who feels everybody else's feelings, but have a hard time experiencing your own and knowing what your own are. You think of the fives who are very much in a head space and sometimes have a hard time sinking into heart space. Or sevens for that matter, you know, they live with all these fun ideas, but sometimes have a hard time just settling into their bodies and being present to what's there and what they're feeling and what they're sensing and what their deepest wisdom holds for them. So today I just want to share a simple embodied practice with you as a way to get in touch with your deeper knowing, which some people call your intuition, you know, that deep sense, that wisdom that your body shares with you. So to begin, I invite you, wherever you are, if you can take a moment to just ground yourself and take a few breaths with me. In through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Nice long exhales. That helps us get back into that rest and digest space where we can feel settled and calm. Notice that breath expanding your lungs and relaxing. One more. Now I invite you to do a simple body scan with me, where we're going to take a moment and review what kind of sensations we feel in different areas in our bodies. And I'm going to give you a few words to consider, because sometimes we don't know even what labels or what words to use or to associate with those sensations within us. I was speaking with a friend of mine who is a therapist and works with a lot of folks who have eating disorders. She's like, a lot of my clients are so dissociated from their bodies that they don't know what the feeling of hunger feels like, that it's not something they're familiar with. And maybe that's something you've experienced, or just not paying attention to feelings of anxiety or other sensations interiorly. So as we do this body scan, just consider some words that you might use to consider, or to describe the sensations that you are aware of. So as you settle back into your skin, into your body, I want you to first be aware of and sense from the very tip of your head, from your scalp, the muscles in your scalp, around your ears. What does it feel like there? Is it tense, sharp, dull, flat, spacious, relaxed, cloudy, empty? Consider what words describe what's going on in your scalp and the upper portions of your head. And now we'll move to our face. Think about your cheekbones, sense from your cheekbones. Try not to use the brain in here, but to use all of your senses that are present in your face. Your jawline, your lips, your eyebrows. Now we'll move down to your throat, to your neck. For me, just bringing attention to these places, I can feel certain muscles relaxing. What's present in the tops of your shoulders, in your upper arms, your biceps, your forearms. Consider what your skin feels like, what your hands feel like. What sensations are you aware of? Warm, cold? Is it light and airy, or does it feel dense, hard, buzzy? Back in your torso, in your chest, around your limbs, your ribs, your upper abdomen, your lower abdomen, and your hips, your low back, if it helps, you can place your hands in each of these places as we go. If it helps, draw your presence there so that you can sense from there. Again, try less to think about your hips, but to sense the world from your hips. And from your upper legs, your thighs, your knees, sensing the world from your shins and your calves, your ankles, your toes, the soles of your feet. Now take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. From this place, what are you aware of? I feel a warmth and kind of open space inside of my chest. I can feel some tension in my upper arms, some in my hips, my feet as my toes are gripping the ground. A general sense of ease in my torso. Wonderful. This is base point. This is our grounded point. And even if you don't feel completely grounded, that's okay. The groundedness comes largely from just accepting whatever is there. You don't have to judge it. You don't have to change it. It's not bad if you're feeling anxious or buzzy or whatever it is. It's a stance of acceptance. From here, I'm going to invite you in this second part to consider a few words and what responses are elicited in your body. What kind of sensations, now that you're aware what your base point is, where there's tension, warmth, fuzziness, whatever the sensations are. Doing so helps us do many things. It helps us become aware of the subtleties interiorly, which is incredibly important in prayer. Because as the divine is drawing us deeper, as we're moving from meditation or mental prayer, as the mystics called it, into contemplation, when God starts to take over and starts to give these very subtle gifts, it often feels like nothing. And so beginning to learn what those subtleties feel like interiorly, like a vague sense of movement or of invitation or of curiosity, that helps us be aware of divine movements interiorly as well. It's also helpful in just day-to-day decision making, from things as simple as, what do I want to eat today? Do I want an apple or a brownie? And considering that, holding that, okay, what does apple feel like? What is that going to make my body feel like? What is a brownie going to make my body feel like? Oh, it feels kind of stuffy and bloated, even though my mouth would really like it. And an apple feels very fresh. Maybe that's the choice that I should make. But it's also important for other deeper questions that are around your identity or how to take care of yourself, your needs. Think of self-care. How do you know when to push yourself, to shove yourself out the door and go see some friends? And how do you know when you just need to take a nap? Those are all body awarenesses. Knowing what your body needs and what it's communicating in these very slight and subtle sensations. So what we'll do now is I'll offer you some different words just as an exercise to get used to what's bubbling up and being able to attend to those things. Again, you don't need to judge them. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's just being aware so you know what's going on in your interior. So, taking a deep breath with a nice long exhale. I want you to consider the word travel. See what shifts in you, what sensations you feel. I feel a certain lightness up by my shoulders, a kind of openness inside my belly, and this movement or desire to move in my arms. Like I just want to spread my arms wide and accept all the wonderful things the world has to offer. And I can recognize that as a positive set of sensations, right? That's something, because I like travel. But oftentimes when we say we like something, we don't quite know what to associate that with interiorly. Like, how do you know when you're hungry? Okay, I feel this certain slight discomfort in my stomach. Or how do you know when you're cold? Like, oh, suddenly my muscles start tensing. And you have some associations. So how do you know what the right path forward is? What feels like a good decision and what feels like a bad decision? What does anxiety feel like inside of you? So let's try another word. The next word is yesterday. Take a few breaths and consider what sensations come up with yesterday. These could be positive, negative, neutral, anywhere on the spectrum, probably depending on what happened yesterday. Maybe you had a wonderful time laughing with friends and you feel a warmth in your solar plexus. Or maybe you had a really rough day yesterday and you feel a tension in your shoulders and wanting to fold inward. Just notice these things. What is your body telling you through these sensations? Are you ready for the next word? The next word is rules. What happens from the tips of your toes, and your legs, and your hips, your stomach and back, your chest, your arms, your head when you hear the word rules. Maybe you feel cramped. Maybe you feel secure. Maybe that feels really great. Just give me my parameters. I want a fence, please. We'll do one more word together. Future. For me, I could feel a sense of relaxation in my temples, like an openness throughout my throat and my chest here. The word that I'd associate with that is hopeful. which is kind of surprising because just in the past couple of days, I've had another part inside of me that's been concerned about what's going to unfold. And so it's beautiful that my body can display some sense of hope, or what I associate with hope in these sensations. So try this out as an exercise. You can do it by yourself, or you can do it with others, or with a spiritual director or coach. But use it as a way, it's kind of like playing scales on the piano, right? In order to play really well, you have to practice and get used to how your fingers need to move. It's a muscle memory. And similarly here, we're gaining a muscle memory so that we can place our finger, interiorly, metaphorically, on what these various sensations are and what our body is communicating to us. I used to do this in a slightly different way, and it wasn't really something that I cognitively chose, like this is going to be my way to exercise my intuition. But on Sundays, it was my tradition to go for a little adventure somewhere. Just go for a drive, find a field somewhere to go lie in and just soak up the sky. And generally, I would just drive and check interiorly and be like, should I turn here? No. And I go to the next one. Should I turn here? And consider, like, does yes feel spacious, free, hopeful, all of these sensations, these positive things, or does it feel kind of cramped and tense? Consider any of your decisions, option A and option B. How does it feel interiorly? Give it a try and see what your body wants to share with you. It often has a lot more wisdom than you might think. And give us a comment down below if you found this helpful, or a like. We'd love to hear what you think and what you want more of. Thanks for tuning in. And if you are looking for more ways to be in touch with your body, in touch with the divine within you, we'd love to have you join us on our upcoming program, Spiritual Off-Roading. It's 4 months of deep diving into all sorts of juicy topics, including embodiment and divine intimacy, vulnerability, and all sorts of lovely things. So if that's something that interests you, we'd love to have you join us at www.spiritualoffroading.com. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks.